Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to another Nights with Nora. And I am your host, Nora Brown. I'm the founder of Girl Talk Inc. And of course, you guys know I have a very special guest, as usual. You guys, I have Miss Kimberly Wayne in the building, y'all. But guess what? She has never been on the show. So y'all give her a round of applause and tell her hello. She is in the building to share with you guys on an important topic. And I've been trying to get Miss Kim in on this podcast for quite some time, but y'all know your girl is busy and I'm always running around with my kiddos or doing something in the community. So, but I finally got her on here and I'm so happy. She has so much to share with us tonight, you guys. But before we get started, I want to tell you guys to like and share this video with friends. You guys can tag your friends, your family, share this video out because we're talking about a very important topic tonight, guys. We're talking about how to balance our lives as working moms. I know y'all know that plight. I know that y'all know how hard it can be to balance your life when you're a full-time working person and you have little people at home, or sometimes some of us have bigger people at home. But wherever you're at on the spectrum, you still have responsibilities and you need to figure out, how do I balance my work and my life? And so tonight we're going to try to bring you guys a little bit of clarity to that and give you guys some pointers and maybe help you guys out and just have some conversations around this very important topic. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. And I'm going to have Miss Kim introduce herself to you guys and tell the audience a little bit about who you are, Miss Kim, and all that you've been doing here in the community.
Yeah, so on my Lancer first, thank you so much. I'm so excited. This is like super awesome. So thank you so much.
Of
But my name is
course.
Kimberly Wayne, and I'm the owner of Overcross Counseling and Equine Services, where we provide mental health services for our community. But we do it with a little twist. What we have the privilege of doing is bringing courses in as a partner while our clients work towards their treatment goals. So some of our clients, they have diagnosis. Some of them don't have diagnosis, but we just help all people who are going through some life transition, trying to manage it, maintain a good thing. That's what we're really here for. And we are in the heart of North Tulsa because we want to see our community thrive. I'm a product of North Tulsa. I'm a product of Tulsa Public Schools. And so I really wanted to make sure that I gave my community something that they needed. Not just another service, but something that they really, really needed that would help them maintain their mental health, um, maintain their employment, increase our graduation retention, all the great things that we need to be stable individuals. So that's what we get to do. Man, we get to partner with so many wonderful people in the community and just teach our community members about their mental health, how to maintain it, from 3 years old all the way up. So we don't cap off at an age. We don't work with only a certain type of population. We work with all people, all diagnoses, not non-diagnosis, whatever it is. If you need help, we're here for you.
Wow, that's so awesome. I love that y'all do that and all the work that you're doing in the community, even with the I know that you didn't mention it, or maybe you did and I missed it. You the summer program that you do for the youth. Oh my God, that's so awesome. And then you have the interns that come in. Can you
Mhm.
tell the ladies a little bit about that program that you did this summer as well, Miss Kim?
Yeah, for sure. So I did not mention it. Thank you. But so a couple years ago, we were like, it was during spring break, and it was like, what our parents kept saying, can the kids come during spring break? We like, no, like, what are they gonna do? So we started hosting camps. And so we have
Mhm.
camps the week of spring break, Monday through Friday, and then the summertime, all of June and all of July, where our excuse me, our community members can come out. As kiddos 6 to 17, they get to work
Mhm.
on their social emotional development. We do science, we focus on reading and exercise. And so we have so many people that partner with us for our spring break camp that just bring activities. Langston University, the fire department, the police department, the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, the Tulsa Black Mental Health Alliance. I know I'm missing some. That's why I do not like name dropping. I'm going to forget somebody's name, so forgive me. But we just have a
Right.
lot of people in our community that believe in improving the mental health of our young people because they're not tomorrow, they're today. And
Right.
so we do that. We partner with Muskogee Creek Nation to be able to have interns. So these students are in some type of counseling program and they want to further their education. They want to get experience. So they come, they get to hang out with us, they get to learn. It is like such an amazing opportunity. And it's for our people. So I'm like so thankful for the to be able to do this.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that is so great. I'm so glad that you're in the community the way you are. And you talked about being a graduate of Tulsa Public Schools. And so just really, you have stake in that community. And it's good to see people. Sometimes we grow up in these communities and we just want to get out. So many people who are successful, that grow up in these communities, they get what they need and they move on. But for
Mm-hmm.
you to go back and reach back to each one, teach one mentality, I love that. I love that. I've always had that thought in my head to come back. I left Tulsa at a pretty young age myself. At 18, I got out of here, went to college, and I end up right back in this community. And I love it here. People are like, why you live in Tulsa? Tulsa's this. I said, I love Tulsa. This
Mm-hmm.
is my home. There's so much work to be done here, and the people who have embraced me. This has
Mm-hmm.
not been a town where I have come and people have turned me away, but they have embraced what I've done. They've built my business up. I mean, if it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for the community in here in Tulsa, I don't know where I would be, because they have showed me so much love. And I know that you've experienced that too, Miss Kim, with your organization as
Absolutely.
well. And I see all the kids running around having fun at the camps and stuff. I haven't had an opportunity to come to any other events that you've done, but I'm looking forward to those as well. And I
Mm-hmm.
know me and you met up at the, I believe it was the Wow Woman uh, uh, a breakfast or meeting, something that they had
Yes.
at a luncheon or something. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the first time I got to encounter you. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting, because it's not all the time that I run into other mental health professionals or
Mm-hmm.
people that are doing this work, this so important work of talking about our mental health. Which brings me to the topic that we're talking about tonight, which is balancing our work and life as busy moms. So you talked about all those wonderful things that you do and all the things that you do in the community. Talk to me a little bit about your family and how you kind of
Mm-hmm.
balance all of that with your kids. And tell us about your kids too, because we haven't got a,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that. Mm-hmm.
So I was blessed to be a mother of twins, girl. God
Really?
said
I
that
did
I'm
not
due
know
to
you
have,
had
yes, I have
twins.
twin boys. They are 10 years old. And for
Okay.
whatever reason, God trusted me to be their parent. And it has been an absolute joy. And I
Oh.
just love every moment of it. They keep me busy. I don't know, like, where all we been, but man, they do rodeo, they do baseball, they do basketball. They are fishermen. So we are always on the road doing something, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're very adventurous, smart boys. I'm so grateful for the boys. um, in regards to family and work-life balance and all these things, like it's not a such thing as balance.
Mm.
We just gotta take that off the table. There's no
Right.
such thing as balance. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite all-time favorite song?
Oh, I can't even. Let me see. Probably a Beyonce song. Let me
Okay.
see. I love all her songs. She has a song called Diva,
Okay.
and I love it so much. That's one of my favorite songs.
Okay. Now just imagine if Beyonce and her team was like, we gonna make this song balanced, and they expected it to be a hit for everybody to like it. We're gonna make all of the chords balanced, and because if it's balanced, everything is happening at the same level. So all the
Right.
chords, all the vocals, all the instruments, everything is gonna be balanced. I don't think that would really be your favorite song because it wouldn't sound good. It wouldn't be pleasing to your ears. It just wouldn't
Mm-mm.
work. So when we think about balance, everything is straight across. We wouldn't like our music to be flat and balanced. So I like to replace the word balance with harmony. We want to
That's
harmonize
good.
these things in our lives,
Yes.
from school to work, our kids, our social life, our spiritual life, our fitness life, all the things. You can joke, everybody's going to have a different mix of what's in there. And so the word that I would like to replace balance with is harmony. Let's start harmonizing these things.
Mm.
There's gonna be seasons where you working out every day and it's feeling good, you eating good, and it's working for you. But then maybe your house might not be clean every day, or to your
Right.
liking. Maybe you got
Mm-hmm.
the kids to all their sports, you doing all your good things, all the activities with them. But then maybe you haven't been able to read as much, to do your self care as much because you've been on the road.
Mm.
So in regards to like this whole balance term, I like to change that and replace that with harmony. And I think a lot
Mm.
of times we get
And
caught
look at
up
me
in
right.
like, it's not balanced. I'm not making everything happen at the same time, but we're not performers. We are human beings and we have to give ourselves grace, and we have to say, you know what? The house is clean. The kids are fed. I made it to all of my appointments on time today. I'm thankful. I'm gonna be gracious.
That part.
And yeah, and kids, we gonna go eat this Sonic tonight because I'm not cooking. Whatever your quick pick food is. And
Right.
so I would like to replace the word balance with harmony and just encourage all women to let's not get caught up in everything having to be the same at the same place at the same time. It's not gonna work.
Wow. I love that word you used, harmony, because yes, that's really where we need to go, because we try to do everything. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm the same way. I literally did that this morning. I'm trying to fold clothes, I'm trying to get the kids out for school, and I figure, well, while they're in the while they're bathing in the tub, I'm gonna go fold this load of laundry. Mistake, Nora. All kids was late for school this morning. I don't know why I felt like I could do all that morning. And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna warm up the oatmeal. I'm gonna fold these clothes, and I'm gonna bathe the kids. Literally, I tried to do all those simultaneously. No, failed epically. All kids were late. One missed the bus, and the other one was just super late. And I had to drive her way over there to her school because the bus is like a lot closer. And it was just a mess. And I think I was trying to do what you said. I was trying to make sure everything was even, because I'm like, if the kids are on time from school, I need the laundry done in order to feel complete. You know what I mean? Like, I need,
Mhm.
and it's just some days where the laundry will not get done, and the kids will be on time for school, and that just has to be enough. You know what I mean? Like, that just needs to be good. Like, you've done your motherly duties, kids are on time for school, and maybe they don't have everything clean, but we'll get to it on Saturday, okay?
Mhm.
And so I love that the term you used about harmony, because that is so good. And then we talk about that the harmony or harmonizing. What are we doing for self-care? Like, how do we take care of ourselves in these busy seasons? And I know a lot of people are throwing out these words of self-care, self-love,
Mhm.
and it's like these smart terms, but in your like therapeutic opinion, like give us some knowledge when it comes to like what that does mentally for us when we're able to have self-care and get self-care and
Mhm.
take care of ourselves.
Yeah, self-care is it's rising, right? It's this hot topic and everybody is like,
Mm-hmm.
self-care, what's my self-care look like? What's your routine look like? What can you do? And I love it. I love
Yes.
it. I love that we talk about like how do we care for us first, because when we take care of us first, then we can show up and be present for all the other things that pull and tug on us,
Mm.
and so
Yes.
there's so many different ways that you can self-care, and it's really up to you. So how I
Mm-hmm.
like to break it down to people is you should have a daily self-care, a weekly or bi-weekly self-care, a monthly
Mm.
self-care, and a quarterly self-care. Now,
Right.
these are not all the same. So let's say your daily thing. For me, my daily thing is I want to wake up at 5 a.m., 4:45, 5 a.m., and I want to have 35 minutes of undisturbed time. I don't want the kids bothering me. I don't want anybody calling me. I'm not checking emails. I'm not, no notifications. I just wake up. Sometimes I just like sit in my little chair and I'm like sipping on my tea, just
Right.
waking up. But it's my 30, 35 minutes of uninterrupted time. I might
Right.
read, I might journal, whatever it is, right? Weekly or bi-weekly, like, is that you just buying yourself a smoothie? Is that you getting your nails done? Is that you taking yourself on for a walk at the park? I got a bike recently, so I've been cycling, girl. But it's a
Ooh.
cute little bike, and I like to go ride my bike. When I have a chance, I say I'm gonna go, take me a ride on my bike. When you think about monthly, like, is this a time when you get together with your girls, or you have your
Mm-hmm.
friends or your significant other, and y'all just take that intentional time to just maybe y'all go debrief by going to ride horses or going for a swim, or just like doing something spontaneous that doesn't really, you're not telling your time what to
Right.
do. And then quarterly, like, now that when go take a like a staycation, or go
Yes.
visit a friend from college or from high school that you haven't seen, really, and plan these things out, and then
Mm-hmm.
make them uninterruptible. Like, nobody, nothing can change these or alter these. Like, if you don't hold your self-care in priority, nobody else is. So you have
Right.
to get to this place where you say, no, I can't reschedule my self-care, because if I do, I could get sick. And sickness could be
Mm.
rage, it could be anger, it could be impatience. Sickness could be depression symptoms increasing, anxiety symptoms increasing. Sickness in our bodies could look different depending on who we
Mm.
are, and so we can't afford to reschedule our self-care appointments. We can't afford it.
Right. I like that. I actually love that. That's really good. Like I feel like that should be in a journal, Miss Kim. Like a
I love
self-care
it.
journal because I hadn't thought about it in increments of like this is what I do every week, this is what I do
Hmm.
monthly, like set it up because I kind of like I'm random. Like I know that I
Hmm.
need self-care and I'll feel my body kind of wearing down because I'm very self-aware. And I know a lot of people may not be
Hmm.
self-aware and they'll make themselves sick, like what you said, because if we're not aware of when we're tired or when we're overwhelmed and we're not listen, we're ignoring these red flags, that extra tiredness, maybe your stomach is upset, you've been anxious too long about a
Hmm.
certain activity that you're doing. All those are like red flags or indicators that it's something that is wearing down, like your body
Hmm.
is wearing down. Like just like you take care of your physical body and go to the doctor and check out, you need to take care of your mental health as
Hmm.
well. And I don't think people equate the two as important. Oh, I got to get it done, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, you also have to listen to the red flags or the warnings that come in that balance. And you got ahead of me a little bit when you talked about schedules and stuff, because I was going to ask you about that in the next question, because that's something that's important too. Because when you're talking about a monthly routine and you're talking about a daily routine and a yearly thing or something that you know hang out with your girls and go on vacation, how does that look when you're talking about a plan? Like what are some of the things that you've done in your own personal life as far as like calendars and stuff like that to keep
Hmm.
all of this stuff kind of in wraps?
Yeah. So first thing is you got to stay flexible because stuff will happen, especially
Hmm.
us parents. If you have kids, that is just one of those additives that, excuse me, you really just from a day to day, you don't know what's gonna
What
happen.
they gonna do?
You have no idea. But I had like everybody's not a scheduler.
Yeah.
Everybody's not a planner. For me, I've always been a planner. Like from I remember my parents and my family would come visit me in college and I would have like hour for hour, like in
Really?
15-minute increments, like I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, blah blah blah, like the whole day. And while that can be overwhelming,
Yeah.
we do want to create some type of structure. And
Hmm.
so if you have if it's a weekly calendar that you use, I just moved to a monthly calendar. I used to like plan by the week, but now I just have a monthly calendar.
Hmm.
Some people that might work for them. Maybe it's not a calendar of of sort, but some people call them to-do lists. I like to
Yeah.
rename them. So for my to-do list, it's escalate, cultivate, and accommodate. So
Mm.
those things in the escalate column, they have deadlines and they are urgent. So these are things like we gotta get done. I need to
Hmm.
get done by a certain timeline because it's vitally important. We don't want too many things there because then we'll be in like constant overdrive. Like, oh my god, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this
Yeah.
done. Cultivate is the middle one, and that's where we want to spend the most of our time. What do we want to grow? What are we developing? What is important to us? Our self-care, our spiritual routine, our fitness routine, things for kids. What things go right there? That's where we want to have the most things and spend the most time. And then accommodate, those are things that don't have a deadline. They're not very important, but we kind of need to get them done. And so
Right.
these things are some of the more tedious things that we spend our time doing because they're easier. They
Hmm.
take less work. Sometimes they're a little more pleasurable. And then we looking at the other two columns like, I haven't got anything done. So that might work for some people. So you just kind of got to figure out, are you like, I need to know weekly what's happening. I want to look at it
Yeah.
monthly, or do you want to look at it as escalate, cultivate, accommodate? Like, what's your learning style? And
Hmm.
that's the best way because what worked for you might not work for me. What works
Ooh,
for my
that's true.
mom isn't going to work for me. And so be open, like know you. That's where that self care come in. Know you, learn,
Yes.
and how you can best be fluid and flexible. That way, when you plan your self care, you already know like this is the day, this is when I'm going to do it. And it's not, nothing's moving. When you have your fitness schedules, your doctor's appointments, your school papers due, whatever it is, none of that time is altered because you already have it planned out in a way that you can best receive it.
Right. Exactly. I like that. I love that. I had never heard of that plant that what acronym did you use? The cultivate, the one that had
Es-
work.
yeah, escalate, cultivate, accommodate. Hmm.
Okay. See, you teaching me on here. At this point, I'm trying to take notes. I
I
got my little
love
notes.
it.
So I'm writing down stuff because I'm like, this is really good. I am like all over the place sometimes, and like recently in the last couple of years, I said, okay, Nora, you need to get a schedule. You need to get this thing done. And this is another reason why I wanted to bring this important topic to the ladies, because I know that there are so many moms struggling with it. I'm 6 years into motherhood. I have two small children. Then I have my bonus kids. So three small kids, basically under 7. So they're always, moving pieces. Like you said, you can't plan anything pretty much. You don't know what's going to happen day to day. And I'm learning that to be more flexible, because I am very type A. I like stuff organized. I like people to be where they said they're going to be. I like things to run smooth. But as a mom, like, I cannot operate like that. Them kids are not gonna do what I want them to do at all times. I remember when we were potty trained, like right when you get ready to go out the door, people will have an accident. It seems like every time you get everything in the diaper bag and you got all the juices and all the little things packed away, and I have everything handled. Like any accident that can go wrong, I got it taken care of in the bag. But they will have it at the house, and I'm like, you didn't even let me get to the store before you did it. And it's so funny because I was always that way, and I'm like, I have to learn to be flexible. So that's something that we have to learn as moms, is that stuff is gonna go awry, and not to like come unglued or come apart, and it just builds so much resilience in me going through motherhood, and just understanding like everything is not going to be perfect. So I say, I don't even say I'm a type A person no more, because I can't even operate in that capacity anymore, because I don't know what my kids are going to do. And it's so funny. Like, I'll plan something out for the day, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this today. It's going to be so great. I get a call from the school. Oh, she has a fever. I'm like, okay, plans canceled. Whatever you got going on, that's off the table, Nora. Okay, you find a better way to do it or whatever. But it's just so many moving pieces. But it's good to have a plan and a calendar in place, because it gives you a guide to what you're doing throughout your daily schedule and your day, and just kind of keeps you on track. Like, if you said you was gonna work out and it's on the calendar, you're gonna do it more likely than you would if it wasn't on the calendar. So I like that idea. I love that idea, actually. And then my next thought is, like, sometimes as parents, and we're going through careers, and we have busy careers, and we are trying to accomplish things in our life, and we have children, and children come, and like, as a parent, you as a single person, before you become a parent, you don't really know the capacity or the impact that being a mom is going to have on your life. So as a new brand mom, I went through some postpartum, and I got to bring this topic up because I think it's so important that I want to talk to the younger moms too, because I don't want to leave them out, because I've been momming for a while, but I always have to keep in retrospect when I was not momming for a while, and this was a shock to me. And I did end up having some postpartum depression, right? And so, because I was in corporate America, I was working, I was doing all these really cool things, and I had to slow my roll. Like, I had to drop all of that and become a stay-home mom. We went into COVID. That's just a little bit of my story. But I know going through that, it was a shock to my mental state. So I want to include and talk to moms who may be experiencing that part of being the busy mom. You may have been a busy mom and you're not anymore, or you may be a first-time mom and you're dealing with all of the things that you have not dealt with. Talk a little bit about that mental health piece, or what people may be going through when they're experiencing that pull away from being this part of life, and you are no longer in that position, that you're in this new role, and they may not feel as adequate or lost. They use the term of, I lost myself. What would you say to those type of moms or people who may be experiencing that?
Yeah. So we definitely see an increase in mothers who are experiencing postpartum. And I think a great deal of that is directly related to um, social media and the false expectations that our families kind of put on us. Like, you and mom, you got to have this together. You got to do this. You got to take the baby here. You got to make sure the baby look like this. You still got to maintain your appearance. Your body is not supposed to change. You still gonna have to go to work and work full time. Like, it's like, wait a minute, like, how is the mom supposed to manage and maintain all these things? Like, why are we creating this false narrative that, after she just carried this baby or children for however many months, that she needs to bounce back and be this type of you don't have to be resilient. Wow. You don't have to show up the way that your mother did when she first had you. Our families and these false expectations try to get us to believe that it needs to look a certain type of way. But for every mother out there that's listening to this, like, you're creating your own culture of what motherhood is for you and your family. based
Mm,
on the things that you have, the resources, the people at your table. Michelle Obama talks about like who's at your table. What type of people do
mm,
you have at your table? Who's that supporter that that can be there for you, that's gonna recognize and it's gonna see like, hey baby, slow down because you're trying to do too much right now. Give yourself some grace.
right.
Who's the person at your table that says, you know what, I have a few mother tips that I want to come over and I want to share with you. Who's there saying, you know what, I
Mm,
noticed it's you just had the baby, it's been 2 months, you haven't gotten out. Let me keep the baby while you go out, relax. If you want to relax at home, if you want to go get yourself a dinner, a lunch, you go take some time for yourself. If you have
mm,
people at the table that's just kind of nagging and saying like, well, you should do this and it should look like that, they're not encouraging, supporting you. They're trying more so of telling you how it should look. You might need to get some different people at your table because they're giving you false narratives, and those false narratives get into your mind. Now you battling with, am I good enough? Am I doing a good job? Was that the right
mm,
choice? It doesn't need to look like anybody else. Your motherhood, your parenting, your you being a steward over the child that God trusted you with, it don't need to look like anybody else's. It only needs to look like, excuse me, what it needs to look like for your child. And so
right.
you're creating the culture for you and your child. And so when I'm excuse me, when I'm working with moms who have new babies, I tell them grace, grace, grace. If God gave you new grace on today, why you can't
Mm,
give them? you know
right.
Again, even with new babies, we want to have a structure, we want to have some type of routine, even if it's just a skeleton type deal. It doesn't have to be hour for hour or day for day or week for week, but if you wake up, you say, you know what, today these are 3 things I'm gonna get done. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. I got them done. You celebrate yourself. Get a gratitude box and write it down. I'm a stickler. I try to write down every day. I'm not good at writing down every day, but if I can get down one per day or 2 per week, for because it might get hectic, I can always go back to my gratitude box and I can look at those things and say, God did bring me through this. This
Mm,
opportunity was pleasant for me. It helped my business. I did get all the laundry done despite the fact my hair didn't get done or my hair didn't get taken down. The baby slept all night for 3 days.
mm.
You know, when you go back to that
Right.
gratitude box, you'll be able to see, the reality of what you have completed and what you have accomplished. And so, because when you get down, it's hard to speak those things, and it's hard to be able to remember the things. All you can think about is the moment, and it's like right now everything is chaotic. I don't feel
Right.
like myself. I don't look like myself. I'm trying to figure out how to raise this baby, and I don't know if I'm doing a good job. Maybe my milk isn't coming how I want it to come. Grandma say
Mm-hmm.
I should be doing this, and my friends, her pregnancy, the way that she make it look seems like it's flawless. Like, what's wrong with me? You internalize it, and you don't have
Yeah.
to do that. You don't have to do
Mm,
that. Your parenting, your motherhood, you create the culture for that based on your
wow.
research, your resources, the people around you, based on what's going to work for you and your kid. What's your career life like?
Right.
How can you fit your career life around your new role as a mom? you know
Mm,
and so when working with mothers who are going through postpartum, just grace on top of grace on top of grace, and then just thinking about who's at your table, and always remembering you don't have to live up to those false narratives that other people try to put on you, because if it was that easy, they'll be
right.
doing it too. Okay.
Exactly. And they
Yes.
doing it. And people always have advice for things that they don't have to personally go through.
Ciao.
And I'm like, listen, if I was doing that, if you were, and that's the whole point. You said if, because you're
Mhm.
not over here. You don't know what these people are experiencing. And so yes, grace after grace is definitely good. So I hope you ladies are taking that in. And y'all, these are gems that Miss Kim is dropping on us
Oh,
tonight.
thank
Absolute jewels. And I'm loving them. I'm enjoying it. Because, like I said, as a mom, I went through that portion. I'm older now with the kids. I've aged in the kids. What I would say, I'm a bigger mom now. I guess
you.
you could
Yeah.
say I've grown up a little bit, and so coming back and looking back on things, I know I did go through that where I wanted to compare my motherhood to other people's motherhood, and I did a lot of social media because people show you the highlight reels. They're literally called highlights and reels on Facebook and on these different things because they're only reels and highlights of the stuff. They don't show you the messy shirt or the leaky boobs or the how the kids screamed and dirtied up 6 shirts before they got the perfect picture. And I'm like, y'all did not tell me how hard Christmas photos was. I remember I took my first family picture with my kids, and them kids was all all over the place. Like I literally had to pay the photographer extra because we were there so long. Like it was ridiculous. And I never, like literally those are the only Christmas pictures we got because I never went back. I'm like, okay, we're not coming back to y'all older. Like this is insane. But it's just a lot of stuff that people do not tell you or teach you or show you because they're ashamed. And so I think at this point, when people start opening up about true motherhood, when they start saying the things that nobody else is saying or willing to say, and they start really being authentic with other moms and even older moms talking to younger moms or younger moms. And I'm not talking about age of you. I'm talking like how long you've been in motherhood. Because you can be young and still know things and teach older people. So it's about the time spent and the lessons learned. And when we start sharing lessons and really having authentic, honest conversations with other people, I think that's when some true healing is going to come to these broken places that we have, and this postpartum that we may be starting, this anxiety, this depression, because you don't necessarily even have to have a little baby to be depressed, because they get into those teen years and they give you the blues. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I kind of wish they'll go back to being babies. I had a little taste of it this summer. I had some teens come stay with me, my nieces and nephews. Oh Lord, they might be on here because they on social media and they ain't got no business on here. But yeah, them kids, they showed me the light. They showed me what I was gonna see in those teen years, and I said, "Oh my goodness, this is what we fit to look forward to." But it's a lot. So, teen moms, I say a prayer for y'all often because y'all are going through. Listen, it's hard out there being a teen mom. Like I don't even know. I have little kids, but I got a preview, and it is crazy. It is a lot. But we experience that. We have to work through that as moms. We're working, we're putting bacon on the table, and it's crazy because kids don't realize the sacrifice you made for them into years, decades after you've made it. So in the meantime of you making all these sacrifices and doing all these things for kids and for your children, they have no idea. And a lot of times until they have their own children or grow up and have a life experience of the sacrifice that you made as a mom. And so we have to learn to start doing things like you said, Miss Kim, that we can appreciate ourselves in the meantime. Because I'm not waiting 20 years for somebody to come back and tell me thank you. You get what I'm saying? I need to start doing things on a daily, a weekly, a monthly, and a yearly basis where I appreciate and love and pour into myself while I'm a busy mother. We talked about schedules. We talked about that as well. So, it's just so many things that we miss, and we're out here working, and that guilt that sometimes mothers may feel for having to separate themselves from their kids, because it's like, I want to work and I'm working for my kid, but my kid doesn't understand I'm not there because I'm working, or I'm trying to get those things, especially when you're a single mom and you don't have that other parent covering your back or whatever, and you have to do everything on your own. So, and that'll be the last thing we talk about. Is I want to talk to a little bit about that mom guilt. Talk to us a little bit about how to alleviate or how to regulate a little bit with that mom guilt.
Yeah, so mom guilt is real.
Yes.
Mom guilt is real, from trying to figure out, like, how do I spend enough time with them? Am I doing a good job? Is everything lining up? When we want to have balance. We get in a place we want to balance, and we want, perfect kids. Every sports is all good. Career life is going good. Social life is going good. Spiritual, like all the things. And there's no way to avoid mom guilt, because we're striving to be exceptional parents. And so I like to say, and I heard this, I can't remember who told me, but they said, if you're that concerned, that means you're doing a good job. One of the best ways that you can get reflection on your role as a parent is communicating, conversing with the kids. I literally just had a conversation with my boys today. I kid you not. I had no idea that we are going to talk about this, but I talked to them. You can be transparent with your kids at an age appropriate maturity, right? You can have those conversations. And so my dialogue was like, look, boys, mom is trying to figure out, like, am I meeting the needs that y'all have? Like, how do you guys feel? Can I have your feedback? Let's sit down. Let's kind of reflect for a little bit about what this time has been like or what this season has been like. Because we just came out of like an extremely busy season. And so I'm like, wait a minute, like, have I been there? I picked up another contract. And so I'm doing some of the things. So my time is spread thin. So I'm like, boys, like, let's talk about this. And the kids will give you the feedback that you need, that will satisfy your soul, that will just give you that reassurance of, like, you know what, like, they do see, the kids understand more than we give them credit for, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's up to us to sit down, or that's one of the things, for us to sit down and talk with our kids, like, and get that reflection, like, hey kids, how y'all feeling, what do you know, where y'all at? And then just remembering, like, you're going to experience some level of mom guilt. And that's not necessarily the worst thing, because you're striving to be an exceptional parent. Your goal
Right.
is to be better than you was yesterday as a parent. Now, when it begins to impede your ability to parent, then
Mm-hmm.
we want to say, time out. Let me talk with a friend. Let me self-assess a little bit. Let me take a step back. Maybe I need to meet with my therapist, you know, who's at my table, who at my kitchen table, that I could
Right.
turn to, that I could say, you know what, like this, like I was feeling a little some type of way, but now it's beginning to affect me in a different way, that I have some anxiety symptoms coming on, I have some depression symptoms coming on, and I
Right.
don't really like, this is different. I need a little bit of help, because I know I'm doing the best I can with the means that I have and the knowledge that I have at the time, but these feelings are significantly increasing. So help me out, you know.
Right.
Being around people who are transparent about, like, listen, like, it's gonna be a struggle sometimes, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, or spiritually. It could be one, it could be
Mm-hmm.
a couple, you know. But as a parent, talk with other parents, have you healthy people around you that you could share those experiences with, get reflection from your kids, and then just keep giving yourself grace.
Mm. Yes. I
Hmm.
love that you keep saying grace because
Listen, it's on my wall, honey, posted
right.
on
Is
the
it on your
wall.
wall? I needed to add it to my wall because that's something I think we don't give ourselves enough of. Matter of fact, it
Mm-mm.
was so funny because I listened to a sermon by Sarah Jakes on grace this
Uh-huh.
past Sunday. She did her sermon on grace, and she talked a lot about how we come into grace and how, how we give everybody else around us grace, and we say, oh, they this, but when it comes to us, we're so self-critical. We're
Yeah.
so critical of ourselves and everything we do, and we always reevaluating and putting ourselves through the ringer. Sometimes you'll kill your own success before you even get a chance to get out there and do it, because you just haven't extended yourself any amount of grace.
Mm-mm.
And that's so true. Like we do as moms, like it's a whole thing. Like motherhood is a whole thing. It cannot be boxed. You can't put it away. You can't say, oh, I'm just gonna do it. It is all over. It runs through all aspects of life. And to like try to blend that instead of separating everything into different categories, to begin to
Mm-hmm.
try to blend that and, like you said, have a harmony where everything is together all as one. And sometimes this may get your attention today and that may get your, but to know that if it didn't, that you didn't fail as a human being because you didn't make it over there to that part of it. And that's really good. I like that. Giving grace and giving yourself room to be able to be human, because you truly are a human at the end of the day. You're not a superhero, even though we wear capes. And everybody keeps telling us we wear capes. I'm like, I don't like the cape. I want to take the cape off because the cape is
Mm-hmm.
too much pressure.
And
I
you
like just be,
can, you
yes,
can put it off, because if you didn't put it on you, you can take it off of you, honey. You did not
right.
have to wear. I'm not a super parent, super mom, super nothing every
Nothing.
single day. Like, no.
No, I'm absolutely none of those things. Don't want to wear none of those titles. And it's so funny. Like I could do a whole episode on just putting down these titles that we put on, and it's
Hmm.
got to be a part of my people pleasing mentality that I'm trying to push away. And I say trying. This has been it's going to be a lifelong thing. I think
Hmm.
that we're always forever developing, but
Absolutely.
it's something to be said about always wanting to make everyone around you happy and happy with the things that you've done for them. And I think the kids are a part of that as well. When you have
Hmm.
children, you want to make your children happy, and you also want to make your bosses, or you want to run your business appropriately, whatever it may be that's pulling your attention. You want to make sure everything is perfect, and you have that thought or that idea to be a perfectionist. And the people pleaser and the perfectionist, they kind of look and mirror the same type of
Hmm.
characteristics. And so if you have that in you, you're gonna be this way. So it's hard to kind of come down off of that. But I'm glad that this conversation is going to help empower people to move away from that, or recycle those thoughts and give them something
Hmm.
else, or replace them. I guess you could say replace those thoughts with another thought. Like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to
Hmm.
get this right. This child is not judging me. They're not trying to make me do these things. These are thoughts that you've come up, or things, or standards, unrealistic standards that you held to yourself, and to kind of let
Hmm.
them go. So I like that. And then we talked about support systems in there a little bit anyway, and having that a village around you that is
Mhm.
accepting and helping you, because you truly need a village to be able to maintain all the things that you're trying to do, whether you're trying in a lot, whether you're being a boss in your own company, or you're in a company working for a company, or wherever you're at. Like I said, on the spectrum, you need people around you that are supportive. Like who can you pull from when
Mhm.
you're in need of that help and support? So all of that
Mhm.
definitely matters. All of it is
Who's at your
good.
kitchen table?
Yes, I love that. And I did read that. I think I watched the Netflix series with Michelle Obama.
It's
I
in
watched
there.
both.
It's on there
Yes.
too. And that's
I watched both.
man.
I absolutely love Miss Obama. She is incredible and
Mhm.
gives some good wisdom and insight. And I love how she shared and was so transparent about what her experience was as a working mom and being a
Mhm.
public figure. And even before she came into the office with her husband, she was also a lawyer, you know, an
Mhm.
attorney, and done all that
On
stuff as an
career.
attorney. Yeah, had a whole full career and had to balance that with small kids. And it's a huge feat to do that. Like, and I see why
Mhm.
people say we wear capes, because it really feels like a superhero to be able to balance so many things like that. But anyway, this was a very enlightening conversation. I absolutely
Yes.
loved it. All the tips that you give. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add for the ladies, or anything, or final thoughts on what we talked about here tonight?
The final thought that I want to give, it kind of you kind of touched on it, and it made me think like the titles and the the character traits, and these things that we kind of sometimes they get thrown on us, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we put them on ourselves. But Iyanla, I listened to her the other day. I love her. If you don't listen to her,
Me
just
too. I
go
do
to the
too.
podcast. But she talks about
She's
how
one of
you
the
have to
goats.
be the thing, to
Mm-hmm.
do the thing, to have the thing. And as
Mm-hmm.
mothers, we have to be the thing that we want to be. So if it's patience, if it's peace, if it's kindness, if it's timeliness, whatever that thing is, we got to be that first for ourselves. Then we can be it
Mm-hmm.
for our close extended family. Then we can be it for the, all the other things we connected to. So
Mm-hmm.
be the thing, to do the thing, and then you can have that around you. So
Wow.
now we are decreasing all those negative things that we could experience because we are being the thing before we do the thing, and then we have the thing. And so don't
Mm.
get scared. If you find yourself discouraged, just reach out to somebody. Switch up that kitchen table. Who's at that table so that you can get your mental health improved.
Absolutely. I love that. And we definitely got to get around, like, we got to look and see who is around us. I know I said it before, but I really want to reiterate that, because sometimes we let any old body around us, and we cannot do that. We got to think about who is around us and what we're doing, because it's very important that you know who is in, and I call it a toolbox. Sometimes I think about my toolbox, like not only the things that I can cope with, or my coping skills and all the things that I
Mhm.
have, but also the people that I'm allowing around me had to
Mhm.
change as well, as I've been going, in what I'm calling a healing journey. And I know people use that term, but I'm definitely on a journey where I'm healing from trauma and everything that's happened to me in my own life. And I think about what I have in my toolbox as I'm healing and I'm going through my process, and as I'm evolving and I'm getting into these different places. I showed up to all of these places broken, but I
Mhm.
don't want to stay that way. So who do I have in my toolbox? Who am I allowing around me that's pouring into my life and pouring into my children's life? And as a whole, like when I go and I'm trying to balance or bring harmony to my work and my life, who do I have around me that's going to pour into that or feed into that and not take away? Because as a people pleaser and as a person who would give everything away, I had to learn
Mhm.
my limits. I had to learn
Mhm.
boundaries.
That's
And
good.
so boundaries is something that's so important when you're trying to, you already busy, you have kids,
Mhm.
you have your work, you have your relationships, you have everything that you're trying to balance. Why would you add someone else's drama? Why would you add on
Mhm.
other things? I'm like, I'm not adding anything. I'm trying to alleviate things out of my life.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to add. So sometimes you have to understand, what is my capacity right now? What do I need to put
That's
boundaries
good.
on in my life in order not to overwhelm myself?
That's
And
good.
so sometimes we do that. So as a busy working mom, and since this is what the whole topic about, if you're a busy working mom, the word busy means that you cannot add
Yeah.
anybody else's drama or their stuff to your plate. So in
No.
order not to do that, what word do we need to learn? No. And it's a
No.
complete sentence.
No is a
No.
complete sentence. That's good. Remind them. No is a
Right. Like,
complete
no.
sentence.
Yes, it's just no. And sometimes people will see you busy. They'll see you trying to manage your kids, see you trying to
They just
manage your life,
want
and
to
they will
give you stuff.
still, they'll see you doing the juggling. And they'll say, well, can you hold my stuff too? I see that
Mhm.
you handling yours so well. Can you grab mine too? And the answer is absolutely not. We're
Yeah.
having boundaries. We have boundaries, and the boundaries this year are no. We're just saying no. We're not doing it. We're not going to do it later on to next week. We're not going to do it next year. We're not going to do it when things slow down. No, it's just no. So by
No.
the time it does slow down, they'll find someone else to do it. And it's
Mhm.
so amazing how all these people who needed you don't really need you because you're
Mhm.
just not available. Oh, I thought you needed me so desperately, but looks like you got it done. You know,
Mhm.
and it's just so funny how that happens that they get it done. But anyway, so saying no and setting boundaries is so incredibly important. It's something that has helped me be able to bring harmony, like you said, Miss Kim, to all the things that I balance. And it is setting my boundaries and saying the word no, because I was definitely a person who overcommitted and
Mhm.
overstepped when it came to taking on way too much, overcommitting to way too much. And I found myself when I stopped doing that, I'm like, oh, I can't handle being a mom and working
Mhm.
because I'm not doing all these other things for
Other people.
everybody else. Yeah. So that was something major for me. But anyway, this was such a great conversation. And I know we ran right at our time, but I want you, before we go, to let the ladies know where they can find you on social media, how we can
Mhm.
contact you, and what is up for you next. Mhm.
Yeah, so I would love to hear from all you lovely ladies. Man, I love to do what I get to do. It's such a gift. So you can find me on Facebook. Excuse me. You can find me on Facebook at Overcross Counseling and Equine Services. Our Instagram is OCES_17. You can contact our office at 539-202-7898. You can email us at info@overcrosscounseling.com. What else did I leave out? We have our LinkedIn, but just message us on Facebook. We have our website, overcrosscounseling.com. You can go on there. You can send us a message on there as well. We are accessible to you, to our
Right.
community in Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Africa, wherever you at. We are accessible to you. We want to hear from you. We want to connect with you, however that looks like and however we can help. So call us, text us, email us, whatever that looks like.
All right. That's awesome. So, yes, you guys, make sure you guys follow and get on all her pages, social media pages, reach out to her. If you know anybody who needs the services, send them her way. If you may not need them yourself, but you may know someone who does need the services. So
Mhm.
please send them away and make sure you guys show her page lots of love and like her content or whatever she puts out, because I know that she's doing wonderful work in the community, especially when it comes to mental health. And another thing, another layer to this, especially when it comes to Black and brown people, I know
Mhm.
that as a group of folks that we don't like to go to therapy, we don't like to get inside and do those different things with our mental health, but we are changing that stigma. We are moving away from the idea that it is scary, that we don't need it, that them folks can't tell me nothing about myself. Yes, they can. They are there as an advocate for you, to
Mhm.
advocate for your mental health. They're not going to tell your secrets. They are sworn not to be able to tell your secret. Everything will be private. That thing is just between you and the person you are talking to, your therapist, your counselor, whoever you go air that to or speak that to or let that loose. And I tell people all the time, please go to therapy. Therapy is all right, y'all. There are so
Oh,
many people that are being lost because they have not explored their mental health. They have not explored therapy or counseling all the time. I don't even know what the numbers is, the statistics, that people are ending their lives because
mhm.
they see that there is no hope. And I want you guys to know that there are people like myself and Miss Kim that is working overtime
Mhm.
to make sure that we put out this message of mental health, that we put out this message of therapy, that it's okay to go to therapy, that it's okay to check in on your mental health, and that you are not a lost individual, that you are actually found. That it's like
Mhm.
the opposite. Some people think that they are forgotten about. They are somehow a lower person because they do this. No, it actually takes courage to
Yeah.
reach out to someone and say, hey, I need help. I can't
Mhm.
do this by myself. I've tried everything and nothing is working.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm at. And that is okay. I found that when I am at the end of my rope, that is where God starts. Okay. When
Mhm.
I've exuded all of my resources and I've done everything, that is the safest place that I can land, is at the point of someone else who can help me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I encourage you guys. And if I have not said this enough, go to therapy, get
Go.
some help, call a number. Do what you need to do. Reach out to Miss Kim. Get in her inbox. Get on her website. Do the
Mhm.
things that you guys need to do to take care of ourselves because we love you guys and we want what's best for you.
Yes.
Okay. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thank you again, Miss Kim, for coming
Yeah.
on. I enjoyed all the gems. Somebody said that. I think Miss Katina is on here. It's a couple things that we missed. Somebody said great content, ladies. Y'all are dropping gems, great dialogue. I love it. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was so great. And I will see you guys again next week for another Nights with Nora right here on Facebook Live. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you guys.